I'm Allie Cartwright, and this is Q and Allie. You have questions, and I have insight. So this week, we are talking about intuition. And we touched on this a little bit last week with our conversation about ego, because ego and intuition often are put together in conversation because they are very closely related, and a lot of times people have an issue with telling the difference between the two of them. So I'm not going to get into it too deeply, but just a really quick reminder about the big difference between ego and intuition is ego is your connection to your sense of self, the individual that is you having this life experience, and its main job is to keep you out of mortal peril so that you can have these experiences. Now, your intuition, on the other hand, is connected to the truth that you are one tiny piece of an infinite whole. The entire universe is made of energy. You are no different. You are made completely of energy. And so it's all just one big ball of energy, and you are a tiny part of that. So your intuition is connected to that sense of wholeness, that connection with everything. Now, the great thing about having, or one of the great things about having this connection to all that is you have a connection to all of the information and experience that all other energy has experienced. Now that can sound really overwhelming and really complicated, but the nice thing is that you don't have to understand how your intuition comes up with the guidance that it comes up with. You can just know that it is calculating things that your conscious mind can't comprehend to really help guide you on what it knows is going to bring you the experiences that you really want and need in this life. So, we're going to, of course, talk about our intuition and how to get in touch with it via meditation, mindfulness, and mantra. First up is our meditation moment for the week. This week, we're going to be practicing just getting in touch with our intuition, specifically seeking out guidance from our intuition. So for this meditation, you want to have a really clear question in mind, something that is specific without being too specific, because you don't want to cut anything off. So for example, if you are wanting a relationship, a romantic relationship in your life, you can ask for guidance about how to open yourself up to a new relationship. But you probably don't want to say, give me guidance on how to, or where I should go specifically to meet the love of my life. Tell me where to go at what time and whatnot. You're not going to get that kind of guidance usually. But you just want to really give yourself a really open type of question to receive guidance on. Now, in this meditation, we are simply clearing our mind. We're allowing ourselves to imagine ourselves within a white space. This space is just clear and full of infinite possibility. And we allow ourselves to just relax into this white space. And then we bring the question we're seeking guidance on clearly to our mind. And you ask the question of the universe, of the divine, whomever it feels powerful to you to direct the question. And then you just allow the answer to be known. And this can be really difficult for some people because intuition doesn't have a specific voice. It's not going to be like this third person in your head talking to you. Intuition doesn't really care about logic. It's not going to tell you how it arrived at its conclusion, as we discussed before. There's a lot of complicated stuff that goes into analyzing all of the energy of the universe. So it's usually just a knowing. And it can take some practice to allow yourself to really know what your intuition is saying, to really accept that you do know it. Because you a lot of times will hear it, but will be like, well, I don't know, I might be making that up. So a really, really good trick that I learned from one of my mentors, Tess Whitehurst, is when you're not sure what your intuition is telling you, ask yourself, but what if I did know? If I had to say I knew, if I had to say what the answer was, what would I say? If I had to say something. And this allows us oftentimes to get past that monkey mind and past our ego, actually, that wants to apply logic to everything and figure it all out, to just realizing where our intuition is. And the more you do this, the easier it really gets. So for our mindful moment this week, we're really going to focus on getting curious about examining the difference between the messages that we receive from our intuition and the messages we receive from our ego, and noticing when they actually agree and when they don't agree. One of the things that I've had pushback on when I say that, your ego has fear attached to it and your intuition doesn't, so anything with fear attached to it's not your intuition. People are like, well, what if you're getting a warning from the universe and whatnot? It's like, well, your intuition doesn't have fear attached to it because as your connection to all that is an energy, it doesn't have any fear of this mortal body going away, because it's not worried about being destroyed, because energy can't be destroyed. Your ego is the one who is in charge of keeping this physical form safe from mortal peril to have this life experience. So there can be times when your intuition is tuning into, oh yeah, you're not going to want to do that because that's going to put your physical form in danger. And that's just a knowing. There's no fear attached to it. But then your ego has fear about that situation as well. So it's not your intuition that's fearing, it's your ego. But they can sometimes agree. Okay? So this week I want you to, whenever you're making a choice and you're contemplating the options, I want you to really notice where you have knowing and where you have fear, and whether they agree or they don't agree. Just get super curious about it. It's okay to take a moment and just close your eyes and really, really get in touch with the sensations that you are experiencing as you contemplate these options. It can be amazing, all the different things that you're experiencing as you think about them that you don't even realize. There's so many cues from our intuition, from our ego, that we just don't even notice because we have tuned out of ourselves in order to try to keep up with the hustle and bustle of everyday life. So taking that time, breathing into it, really noticing and allowing yourself to be mindful about getting to know your intuition and your ego and how they communicate with you is just a wonderful, wonderful thing. Finally, for this week, our mantra moment. I instinctively know what is best for me. This is continuing in our vein of really getting comfortable with accepting that you're so capable of knowing the difference between your intuition and your ego and being really in tune with them so that you can always be aware of how different choices are coming at you on an energetic level, and you can make the best choices for your life. You instinctively know, you always know what is best for you, and you are so capable of mindfully steering your life with guidance from your intuition and your ego so that you are always in your absolute best life and just learning and growing all the time. As always, you can do these mantra meditations for as long as you want to. You can set a timer. You can do a certain number of repetitions. You can just go for as long as it feels right for you energetically. It really doesn't matter. I've usually mentioned that traditionally is 108 repetitions. Most mala bead sets have 108 counters on them. You can also find mala bead counters that are set to specific numbers for different reasons now, but traditionally 108 is standard. So get out there and try this mantra. It's so powerful to state something like this and really know that it is truth, that you have that instinct to be able to live your best life. It is within you. You just have to accept it and really take responsibility for being in tune with it and noticing it and listening to your intuition and your ego. All right, guys, I hope that this has given you so much clarity and so much excitement about getting in touch with your intuition and really allowing yourself to develop a healthy relationship with your ego. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them below. If you have a question on a different topic that you would like to see me address on another episode of Q and Allie, make sure to send that in to submissions@alliecartwright.com, and you may see your name and question on another episode of Q and Allie. Until then, live fully, laugh lots, and love yourself.